meaningful 2 decades, where computers have built huge database. The computational power is so big, and the internet was a tool. Now you can let the tool use you, or you can use the tool. Most people had the tool use them. They volunteered information.
They didn't know about it. They didn't think about it that way. No.
Well, just like they say, if it's free, the product is you. All these services, Facetune, the product was you. The Instagram, the product is you. YouTube, the product is you. All our stuff that we like to see ourselves, we're not newsworthy, right? Michael Jordan has never taken a selfie in his life because he's newsworthy. He goes out, he does his job, and he's in the newspaper. But magically, we have such big egos that we need to have our own little social media. We're not newsworthy or media worthy unless we go invent something cool, or we're important to our mom, we're important to our dad or our husband or our wife or whatever. We're important to our kids, but we're not important. There's only this much. But what this did is made us all feel important. So we volunteer all this information, and now the tool is using us to go and sell you back the black shirts that we have, or maybe you have better hair care products than I do, right? So
I might have that. I guess it is that way,
right? So it's giving us back what we asked for. So the tool is using us. Now I can say that there's plenty of people that they do use AI as a tool. Now, a tool could be, I want to do iterative design. So I have a really good idea at work, whatever you do for a living, and I can come up and generate ideas quicker. I don't have to write the whole thing out. I can get to the point and I can expand and contract it. But it's only as good as my prompt. So what I'm telling the tool to do. So if I don't ask it a good question, it doesn't give me a good answer. And if I constantly am looking at, we'll say the bad stuff, you define whatever you think's good and bad, but we'll say the bad stuff.
Yeah.
What's it doing for us? Now, if I go in and I prompt it and I give it good input, it gives me good output. If I give it useful stuff, it gives me useful. So if I just say, write my report, I know what every kid's doing cheating in school. I know that came off of ChatGPT. I know everybody who wants to be an influencer. Well, what are you really influencing if every kid has the same hammer, nail, and saw, and you don't know how to use it? It doesn't make you a carpenter. It's a tool, right? So if I look at, for example, yesterday, I was with who I consider to be one of the top surgeons in the world, and U.S. News and World Report had this person as one of the top. What they were able to do is watch the surgeries that they do more often and see when they do great and learn from what they did great. And the stuff that the data showed that it wasn't as good or wasn't at their median, and tell them where it was off. So they fed them film, they fed them patient outcomes, and they're able to learn quicker, faster, better. There's teachers who can put stuff out and see how it's received by the students and run back tests. The last 5 years I gave this test, the kids were like this, they got jobs here. The ones that I taught this way became better students. Now at the exact same time, there's people trying to make up imaginary boyfriends and girlfriends. There's people trying to do bad things. So they're using the tool for bad things. Also, there's plenty of people who are just average at work, and they get this little thing and they chat GPT everything. So a long time ago, it was you used to have to count on your fingers. Then it was you were calculator dependent.
Oh, you have that there. Okay, that's amazing.
I'm a nerd. Of course I have it.
Of course, yeah.
I got I mean, if you really want to know if you're on with a nerd, I got one of these too. Okay.
Oh my God! Wow, that's
so the nerds, us as nerds, we have this stuff here already.
Yeah, I can imagine when you're a cybersecurity, you have to have those stuff. Okay, yeah.
So you count on your fingers, and you weren't good at math. Then you were calculator dependent because you couldn't do the math. Now, how many times have we been at dinner or anywhere with someone or lunch, and you ask a question, and everyone's sitting there going, because they're just Googling what their opinion should be. Whether it's true or not, we don't know.
They can't anymore. Yeah.
They Google fact check you. There's always that one guy or gal that you hate that when you say, I'm wearing red, and they go, actually, it's crimson, number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I Googled it.
Yeah.
Right? Well, now what's everyone doing? ChatGPT, da-da-da, la-la-la. So you went from counting on your fingers to calculator dependent to Googling everything, Google fact checker, so you can be the enlightened one and virtue signal in the room. Now it's ChatGPT, right?
And what is next then? Because we are getting more and more, less and less personal then. We get more stupid. Or what? We don't need to think anymore, right?
No, so people run business. People run businesses and adults run their families. The most meaningful thing you've ever done had no electricity, maybe the lights or something, but it was like this. It was in person. It wasn't like this. This is good technology, but it was in person. The most important deal you've ever closed was not on a Zoom call and was not by text or a meeting. If you go and make decisions at a company we heard of, it was done face to face. It's done with the handshake. So ultimately it's this. So we are as connected as we've ever been. We have the best tools. You're on the other side of the planet right now, and we're having an interview, conversation, high def, all the fancy stuff. So we're using a tool to do that. But we choose not to do that. When I come home, this is off.
That's good.
There's nothing on. I turn it off because I don't need this to play with my beautiful daughter, Anna Capri. I don't need this to go play baseball, Benjamin. I don't need this to talk with my friends. I need it to do work. But I'll say you on this, no text. I check email 2 times a day. I don't let the tool use me. I use the tool. Same thing with AI. I can do iterative thought, iterative design. I can ask meaningful questions and do better research. I can understand your perspective or perspectives better prior to an interview, maybe learn about your culture. I can use these tools for great. Or I can just make it be my new Google, my new calculator, or my new fingers. So this is our choice on how we use the tool. It's also our choice on how much we use the tool and how dependent we are. Because if little kids see mommy doing this all day, right?
Yeah, of course they do the same.
They do the same. And then if they see dad doing this all day and then doing this all day, and they see mom and dad doing this all day, or
it's horrible.
Doing this all day, they're going to mimic us. So that's our choice. What are we doing with these tools? They're great tools, but are we doing the right things with them?
Yeah, and I can tell you something because here in Sweden, I'm in Sweden, and we have a lot in the news right now about the development that younger children are saying no to the mobile phone, because they have too much information. So I think that development for hopefully next generation is like, oh, I don't want that. It's like information overload.
I believe that they do, because my son, who's 10, said, and he said it a funny way when he was little. He said, I want to invent a phone breaker so people don't go like this all day.
No.
And what he sees is when daddy, this isn't a phone, this is a computer. Oh, the important people, see?
Yeah, that one, I would like to have that one again. That's better.
Yeah. Nokia, right? $50.
Yeah.
Guess what? It's a phone. We talk on it. Wow. So would you imagine that a person that has one of these has this off, and if someone needs to talk to me, this is $50, right?
You are such a role model. This is really amazing, because this people need to hear. I hope that it's a development that really gonna be that way.
And I'm in tech, so I should be with all this fancy stuff.
Yeah, but you perhaps you have so much information. I mean, people that are like me. I'm sitting a lot in the computer, but I also have the mobile phone as a tool as well. But it's so much stuff there on that you have to use it. But then I guess, perhaps the younger generation now do what you do. Buy no smartphones, stop the smartphones.
Well,
They're
the
not simple.
smartphones aren't smart. The people are dumb, and the
Yeah.
phone is now their brain.
Yeah, but if you talk more about this, about like with AI, how it rises and everything, also, of course, it has to do the digitalization and mobile phone also. But I'm just curious because people are like, when we talk about uncertainty in future regarding this, you told me about this. There's a lot of positive things you can use with AI. But people say, okay, what about the jobs? What about the privacy? But what about the sense of identity? You know, people get stuck in that focus when you talk about AI.
Yeah.
And then I want to go into this about trust. That what is the future of trust?
I want to talk about the job stuff. So I'm going to use America as an example, but there's an equivalent everywhere. Okay.
Yeah, please do.
Not too long ago, when you went to school, college, like my parents' generation, you had to be smart to get into school. And college wasn't for everybody. We go K through 12 here, high school's 9 to 12, and then there's college. College has turned into 13th grade. 13th grade. Everybody needs to go to college. Well, now everyone goes to college because that generation, the boomers, said, we got to go to college, you can't get a job. So all the skilled trades went away. So now in America, who were very much a manufacturing powerhouse for a lot of industries, you can go to school for 6 years and get an engineering degree, and you come out and you make $40,000, $50,000, $60,000 to be an engineer. Very hard thing to do.
Yeah.
But there's no welder, and there's no machinist, and there's no truck driver. And the truck drivers make $100,000. The welders make $80,000 to $120,000, and the machinist who gets an apprenticeship makes $80,000 on a 40-hour work week. They also make more than some doctors. So when you get too much of this, the skill stuff goes away. Now you're seeing, when I'm good at this and all this, what are my skills? I hope that I don't have 5 years of only being able to do math with one of these. But if you ask me what 2 plus 2 is, I have to go. And that's what we've become at work. Make the presentation. Well, ChatGPT, the sales pitch that's persuasive for a person in a red jacket. Well, I learned nothing about you. So now, what is your actual skill and what's your value if this can beat you at everything? If everybody has one of these and you can beat an unskilled, what is your real skill? Is your skill listening? Is it talking? Are you a great artist? Are you good with your hands? Are you actually smart? Or did you just go to college? And you know you can't do anything without a computer. Can you get sticky notes? This is my day. Playing with sticky notes, making process flows. Can you do a sketch? Some people can do a sketch, right? Some people start out with pencil and paper, okay? Some people start out with markers. Some people...
Yeah, but where does that go, do you think? It's going to go back to that? Or is it something that... Because I believe that it's going to be like an overload of information that people get tired of this.
Well, they're tired of it, but there's a double-edged sword now. Because if you don't use OpenAI, DeepSeek, Gronk, if you don't use it, I have a competitive advantage over you because I have access to so much information. And if my skill is asking real high-quality questions to generate really good prompts, prompt engineering, I can be an AI master and not even go to school. I just got to be like a little kid and go, why? And it can write code for you. But that's still not your skill. Because when they turn the electric off, are we just a bunch of idiots with cell phones? No. But I will say in the last 10, 15 years, finance, maybe. Service industry, robots have replaced CSRs. So where you don't have a high skill that can't be learned by a computer, you better be skilled. Engineers will always have a job because they have to make it work, right?
Yeah.
Doctors will always have a job. Business people, let's say finance. What are you good at? Relationship management? Well, then good. You can build relationships and then it'll go on the computer. If you're selling stuff, I still have to be able to be persuasive or informative. If I'm an educator, I still have to be able to get a bunch of totally different people and read body language. So the core part, people who build things, people who make things, people who mine things, people who move things, people that create food, people, that stuff will never change.
No.
The actual job and the skills that make life go around will never change. It's these tools and how we use them. So if we've been programmed, no pun intended, to be a bunch of computer monkeys at work, not allowed to think, not allowed to question, and then the system won't let us, and now it's just backstab and politic and kiss up and kick down, and we're all calculator dependent, that's a bad direction. So how do we choose to engage? Do we choose to keep our secrets to ourselves? Do we choose to be the ChatGPT wizard in our little office and not share it and make us look like we're so brilliant? Or do we share with the rest of our team, hey, I see you did this. I would have researched this before. I get it over here. I use a tool to do this. And now instead of doing a saw, now I would say the AI is just an electric saw, right? So you don't have a guy going like this to saw down a tree. They have a saw. So all the AI really is instead of hand tools, you now have mechanical tools. That's how I would explain that to anybody.
Yeah, interesting, because I think that if we could talk about the jobs and everything, people are scared, but what you're telling me, it's about the human abilities and the characteristics and personalities that they never go away. And AI is there as a tool, and we have to have our skills still, of course. I would like to ask a little bit about, if we talk about AI again, and a bit like how we see it, there's so much more than ChatGPT, of course. But it's somewhere it will anyway have some kind of decision-making control over us, right? Because it is programmed and it's developed in a certain way. How do you think that will, do you think we have some kind of, how do we change that? Or do we want to live like that? Or is it something that we need to, because if we don't like this digitalization, if you don't like all the information overload, and we don't like to get answers quickly, we would like to have it as usual, as we did before, right? So how do we reclaim that control? Do you think we can do that?
100%. I would say that, and I'm going to go in a couple directions, and this is going to make people's heart beat a little faster or hold breath or whatever, but I'll use the States. I travel the world, and the US has 50 states. It might as well be like 50 countries, because if you talk like this, you're down in Texas, and somebody in New York don't understand you. And in California, bro, we got the surfer, bro. So it's like we got all different countries. And what Europe doesn't understand is the size of the United States. And it's not like when you're in the UK and they go UK versus US or France, or we could fit 5 UKs in Texas. We could fit 20 Frances and not 20, but 20 Frances in California, right? So they don't understand the magnitude. So now I go like this. What just happened here? We had the media tell a story, and it was delivered to us on this, and it got us in emotional land. And we had a certain leader, and they really didn't like what happened. And then there were systems that may or may not have cheated. But when somebody is that convincing and put up that much results, and the people liked them that much, they overcame all the manipulation. And so I would say, if you got the most popular votes in recorded history, you won the Electoral College, and you won every swing state, and you had the system against you and the media and the manipulated stuff and and you still won, you can't be too bad. But now, and in US, they're all happy. And that's what they voted for. Now, since that happened, I've been to 5 countries in Europe since that happened. He's the Antichrist. It's the end of the world. We're all going to die. Russia, China, US, blah, 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 blah. And what do they get it? Did you go there? No.
No.
Where do you get your news? Instagram? Okay, that's where you got your news. Instagram? Mm-mm. Now, here, when we changed our government at the federal level, they say we don't need federal government. We'd rather have more state and local. So New York can operate like New York, and Texas can operate like Texas, and California, bro, can be. They can all have states' rights. So that's like EU versus individual countries. If I go to Sweden, Sweden's not the same as Spain, is not the same as Italy, is not the same as the UK, is not the same as Serbia. They're all different.
Yeah.
So when we elect people that say, I don't like the spying, I don't like the privacy, I don't like the manipulation, it's up to us as humans, whether we take out the garbage or we are the top of the food chain, the people that we elect, because that's the one thing that we still do as people. We still go in and say, you or the other person. And as long as we're not listening to this thing and we're not voting on social wedge issues or what our girlfriend thinks we're going to do at the luncheon or something, those goofballs don't get to manipulate the system anymore. They don't get to put their thumb on the scale. So if you're afraid of AI, not you, but if someone's afraid of AI, really what they're afraid of is their local, state, or federal government putting their thumb on the scale. No freedom. So there are countries in the world that the government controls everything. You can use a certain country that left the European Union and see how it's going right now. They don't run the world anymore, and they lost their way perhaps. And they're also not the powerhouse. Too much regulations, too much bureaucracy, and they don't make anything. They don't mine anything. They don't contribute to technology. You have people from everywhere else coming there, and they said, hey, country that starts with an R, we don't like you. But US, we don't like you either. So they've become, they don't like the country that starts with an R or the country that starts with the U, and they're about this big, and they have exactly no military, and they want to go send people to war. So you see another perspective. Now, the people there will say, you're wrong, you're a wanka, blah, blah, blah. Okay, why? Is that your opinion, or did social media tell you that? Did the news that's manipulated by your government tell you that? Did you go to your echo chamber that you built on products you like with people that hear that you resonate with, and all you're getting back is a mirror image of what you like, because their job, the tech company's job, is to keep you on this app as long as possible to extract you. So that's a choice. Do I want to use the tool, or do I want the tool to use me? Because the governments, big or small, local, state, federal, or city, country, EU, or whatever it is, do you want them to use these tools against you? Vote the right people in and choose what you put and don't put, and choose how you use a tool and don't use a tool, and vote on laws that enable you freedom and don't have all these restrictions and bureaucracies. And you see a lot of countries right now that went, just like you said, tech went too far this way, now it's going this way. Well, in politics or governments, you're seeing countries over the last 5-10 years all the way this way, and now there's a lot of them that are going all the way that way, right? So that swing has happened. I really think if you're scared of AI, you either have no real skill or you're scared of your government, but you're not scared of the tool, because the hammer doesn't get up and hit you in the hand. The saw doesn't get up and cut you, right? AI doesn't get up and do anything to you. Now, people who want to do goofy things will use these tools to do stuff to you or to manipulate how you think and do. But so does Microsoft Excel. If you put in the wrong numbers, you get the wrong answer. If you don't type right, your presentation looks like crap. If you dress
Yeah.
with your shirt turned on backwards, right, that's your fault, right? So how we use these tools is what matters. And when I hear people are scared of AI, they either are scared that they're not as special as they've told themselves that they are, or unique, and they're just regular. Here's a little hint. All of us are just regular. None of us have boats, airplanes, jets, Lambos, 50 Birkin bags, all that stuff pretend. And if you do have it, you're in the 1% of all people walking earth. We can't have half of us be in the 1%. But what does social media do? Every woman has a $20,000 purse. That doesn't make sense.
No.
Every girl in college now has a Louis Vuitton bag, $4,000 bag. My car cost $1,000 when I got out of college. And there's kids walking around with $4,000 bags. There's guys that have $50,000, $100,000 watches and they still have credit card debt. It doesn't make sense.
No.
But what is that? That's us being used.
Yeah, and I think if we go back to what you said also earlier, because we talk about organizations and government and everything about trust. If we put it on a more, because I have a question that I just came up with, because it has to do with, we talk about trust. And if we talk about trust, we think about AI and do we know if it's something that can manipulate the system? Do we know that we're talking to our loved ones, or when we are somebody's calling us, or those kinds of developments? That is what I think people are really scared about. Do we trust the system that much? Because perhaps you feel that, I think I'm talking to my loved one here, my dear friend, or actually it's an AI that just.
How do I know right now that you're not talking to a robot and I'm not talking to a robot? We don't know, right?
No.
I could actually be a robot.
That's something I think many people are scared about. I'm sorry.
Right.
Yeah, I think that is something that many people think about. That is what the trust is about on a personal level. What do you think? What do you say to those people?
So at one point in time, none of this is original thought. We've seen this with everything. Somebody invented a car and then someone made a better car. Somebody made AOL.com and Yahoo for search, and now it's Google. Somebody made OpenAI, and then China does DeepSeek. But then Elon Musk does Grok. There's 3 big AIs that are free out there right now, right? So there's always, you did it first. Now someone leapfrogged and did it again, and someone did this. If I don't like OpenAI, maybe I go use Grok. If I don't like Grok, maybe I go make a new and different one. Ultimately, people aren't on MySpace anymore. They went to Facebook, and then people got done with Facebook and they went to Instagram. There's going to be something new next year or the following year, right?
Yeah.
So I think with AI, if we don't like what's going on with it, it's real easy. You turn off the app. It's real easy. You don't use it. And if you don't use it, they can't get information from you and they don't have you. So if you choose to not engage with what you know is wrong or goofy or just don't like, turn it off.
Yeah, that's a good advice. And then you think,